Steve, very nice to have you here. Welcome to Germany again.
Nice to be here.
How are you feeling?
I feel good. It's a beautiful day.
It is.
We had a day off yesterday, so I got some rest, and yeah, it's good.
You had to cancel some shows due to the volcano, I heard.
We haven't canceled. We're going to reschedule.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll come back in September and make up those shows.
What would you say were your most important stations for your life as a drummer?
Well, when I was very young, my family was very important. My mom and dad were very supportive of me playing music. My dad used to take me to hear different bands. My grandparents used to take me for drum lessons. My uncle, my father's brother, was the first, showed me how to hold the sticks when I was 3 years old, and he and I would play with records, play along with records. So that was in the that was in the 50s, and then 60s lessons, and I was in drum corps. I started taking with John Beck. He was a great teacher, and that was in the late 50s and early 60s, and I was still listening to bands live. And then the 70s, I was in the Army, and then I went to New York.
What effect had the Army time on you?
Well, the Army, I was in a band that was like a Buddy Rich band. So there were great musicians in it, and there were good arrangers, and they were writing new arrangements. So we were rehearsing. I was sight reading different things every day. So the sight reading was good. I met some good musicians. It wasn't, being in the Army didn't seem that great at the time.
Okay.
I would have rather been out of the Army. But when I look back, it was okay. It was I met some nice people and played some good music. And then when I got out, Tony Levin and I had gone to college together in the 60s. And I went in the Army in 69, and he went to New York. So when I got out of the Army, I went and lived with Tony and his wife. And he introduced me to people that he had met in the city. So that's how I started, the recording.
Yeah.
And, the rest is history.
Looking back over the years, how has music business changed, especially for you? Is there a change, or is everything like in earlier days?
The biggest change was, I do more live things than recording, but that was not only because the business changed, but because I moved away from New York. And as soon as if you're doing recording, if you move away from where the recordings are taking place, then, there's certain work that you don't get called for. I don't, like in New York, like when I was living there, I would get called today to play tomorrow. So when you move away, then that kind of work goes away. But
Of course. Yeah.
but there's certain people that, like, I still get called, like, to do some recording, you know, like for the future. So so projects come in, you know, for maybe like a 2-week recording project will come in for October ahead of time. So that's the way it works. And then I play live up until then.
So New York is more on the spot thing.
Yeah, it was. And back in the 70s, there was a lot of on the spot things, you know. And then as the industry changed, it's different. But there's still work, you know. People still make a living.
No drum computers. So would you say things are better now, easier with all the digital recording, or is that just the same, just another way for you? Do things work easier now?
Well, I think Pro Tools is good. I mean, you can, it's faster than when they were using tape. They can edit quicker. So, you know, I think in some ways it's some things are better, some things aren't as good. You know, I mean, it's different, but it all works.
Okay. You grew up in a time where musicians and their listeners had a very great effect on the politics around them and the whole society thing, like the movement of '69 and things like that. Would you say there's still such a role for the musician today?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that the music that's out there now is you know, it seems like the music that's out there now is more of industry-based stuff. A lot of it is visual. A lot of it is with video and glamour and dance and entertainment. So there's a lot of visual things happening. So you know, I don't know. Before it was just mostly listening. I think if it gets back to just listening, and people don't worry about the vision as much, they'll, you know, the words will become more important.
I have here 2 booklets of very famous records you made, which very much drummers told me that they were kind of a second being born when they heard that thing, like milestones. Would you also say that these things were for you milestones, or was it just another record?
No, I remember this. Yeah, no, playing with Chick and Michael Brecker and Eddie Gomez are very memorable experiences. And this Friends was you know, there wasn't a lot of this kind of music being done back then. This was, I remember, you know, I grew up listening to more straight ahead stuff, and then in the '70s it got a lot more, you know, a lot more songs, vocalists, and radio kind of things, you know. And so this was this came in the middle of all of that, and it was great. I thought that was a special album. And then this too, I mean, with Michael and Eddie, I mean, it was great playing. I remember when we did these albums. Yeah, there's no way of knowing how popular they're going to be.
Of course, yeah.
But I remember them being great musical experiences. But I mean, everything that I've ever done with Chick and Michael Brecker have, you know, great high-level things, you know.
Yeah. So you would say it is impossible to realize when you're there in the studio doing the record to know if this is a big hit or it's just another thing in the whole.
You know, I mean, you
business.
hope.
Yeah, of course.
You know, some things you know are special, but there's no way of knowing if how it's going to communicate.
Okay. Are you aware of your popularity? Is this something very abstract?
I think it's abstract.
It's abstract. Okay. So you don't. I mean, do you care about that when you just live your normal daily life? Is there something that comes up in your mind or what?
No, I don't.
No.
I mean, because I'm not. I mean, sometimes I'll walk. You know, I'll be walking and a drummer will recognize me, but you know, not. It doesn't happen all the time, and when it does, I'm flattered, and it's nice to meet a friend. But it doesn't happen to the level where it's an invasion of privacy or anything.
Okay.
Like some people, some artists have to. They can't go anywhere without being recognized, and you know, I think that's flattering in a way, but in another way, it can be very invasive. So for me, it's fine.
Okay.
You know.
Are there any hobbies besides drumming for you?
No, not really. I like to exercise. I try to jog. You know, I haven't been real good in the last week, but I think that exercise is real important. I have 4 dogs at home, and when I'm home, I just, you know, try to be with the family, be with my wife, and I go visit my kids. And I have a granddaughter, and she's 2 years old. And my daughter's going to have another baby in July, so I'll have 2 grandchildren.
Great.
I have 4 children altogether, 2 boys and 2 girls. So I try to see them when I'm home, and just try to, you know, enjoy the time with the family.
How long will this tour go on, this clinic tour?
This tour goes till the end of April. I think the last one is the 30th of April.
Okay.
In Seville, Spain.
Are there any projects to expect in the near time?
Well, I have there's an album that I did called Steve, Gadd and Friends with Joey DiFrancesco and Ronnie Huber.
I saw the poster. Yeah.
Yeah, and Paul Bolenbeck. And actually, it's finished. I was supposed to have CDs here, but because of the volcano, things got, you know, complicated. But that, you know, that'll be out. That is out, and I produced an album for Edie Brickell called Edie Brickell and the Gaddabouts. It's with Andy Fairweather Lowe and Pino Palladino.
Great.
And Joey DiFrancesco did overdubs on that, and Ronnie Huber also. So that should be coming out. And I also produced an album for Mika Yoshida, who plays marimba. And she's an artist from Japan. And Eddie Gomez played bass on that, and a keyboard player named Anders Wick. So those are projects that I was sort of producing.
Do you have any advices or hints for the young drummer today who tries to be a professional?
Just go, you know, just follow what your dream is. You never, you know, the only failure is not trying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you give it a try, and success isn't attaining the goal, but success is enjoying the journey.
Okay, perfect last words. Thank you very much, Steve Gadd. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
I wish you all the luck and best for the tour.
Oh, thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
2, 1, 2, good. Test. Testing. 1, 2. Test. Yeah, just a little bit in the wedge, not too much. Testing.